Hello, welcome back to my channel, Lego Saturday. My name is Stella Chukwuma. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Here is news on the defilement of a child. A pastor sentenced to life imprisonment for raping his friend's twin daughters. Imagine. Justice Abiola Soladoye of a domestic violence offences court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos today, May 4th, sentenced a pastor, Michael Olise, to imprisonment for defiling his friend's 12 years old two twin daughters. In her judgment, Justice Soladoye described Mr. Olise, who is the assistant pastor of the Anointed Chosen Vessel Ministry in Okota, Lagos, as a serial rapist who took turns defiling his friend's daughters. She held that the prosecution had convincingly proved the charges of defilement against the convict beyond any reasonable doubt. In her judgment, the court held that his conduct is unbecoming of a pastor. Having been found guilty of charge with the two offences, the defendant is hereby sentenced to life imprisonment, she said. She said that the sentencing should run concurrently and that his name is entered in the sex offenders register of the Lagos State Government. The presiding judge also berated the parents of the victims for sending their children to stay with the convict. Parents of the survivor lack discipline and ought not to have sent their children to go stay in Olise's house. Children are not to be entrusted with randy adults. They should be kept in the hands of responsible adults who have their goodwill at heart. The need for responsible parenting cannot be overemphasized, the judge said. 5 witnesses testified at the trial and 5 exhibits were attended. According to the prosecution counsel, Olufunke Adegoke, the clergyman, committed the crime sometime in November 2017 in Ago, near the Okota suburb of Lagos, and the offences violated Section 137 of the Criminal Code of Lagos State 2015. The defendant was said to have defied the survivors after their father had entrusted them in the care and traveled to the village for burial. The prosecution added that he then threatened the survivors that their father would become jobless if they told anyone about the sexual encounter. The convict was caught by one of the neighbors after he had chased one of the survivors in the compound and dragged her with her underwears. Oh, wow, the man was convicted today in Lagos for defilement of children. Things are happening now. Now, let's look at the legal punishment. Let's look at the law that they used in sentencing him to life imprisonment. Here is Section 218 of the Nigerian Criminal Code. And Section 218 is about defilement of girls under 13. And it says, any person who has unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl under the age of 13 years is guilty of felony and is liable to imprisonment for life, with or without caning. That pastor is even lucky that they did not even add caning for him. They should have even add caning for him. Again, any person who attempts to have unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl under the age of 13 years is guilty of felony and is liable to imprisonment for 14 years with or without caning. This paragraph is talking about attempted defilement. Like you wanted to, but you didn't do. You are caught on the process of trying to do it. You have not actually defied the girl. Attempt to have a lawful carnal knowledge of a girl under 13 years. This one is 14 years imprisonment. Then, a prosecution for either of the offences defined in this section of this code shall be gone within 2 months after the offence is committed. What they're trying to say is that to sue the person to court, the prosecution for the offence must be done within 2 months. Within 2 months after the day the offence has been committed. That is what this paragraph is talking about. A person cannot be convicted of either convicted of either of the offenses defined in this section of the code upon the uncorroborated testimony of one witness. What this paragraph is saying is that the person cannot be convicted if there is no witness that will come and say, okay, yes, I witnessed this when it happened. Yes, I heard it when it happened. Yes, I was living close to the man. I saw what happened. Yes, it must be corroborated. If there is no corroborated witness, testimony of one witness, the person cannot be convicted. So that is it. It's not an express law. It's law that has exceptions that you must meet up with. We like call it exceptions or other things that you must meet up with before it can be carried out. So if attempted, or if you have done it already, defied the child already, or just attempting to, the law is saying that you must be prosecuted within 2 months.